Good morning, everybody. It's Jim. It's Sean. It's Amedeus. And it's another deja vu, guys. Tom Brady retires again. This time he says as though it's for real. And I tend to believe it this time.
I'll believe it when I see him file the paperwork, okay? Because knowing him, he's just waiting for somebody to sell his final pass, the ball that was his final pass, so then he can unretire afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see if maybe he just did it because he was sick of Giselle and her spells and stuff like that. He just wanted to get out of the house. I mean, now that Giselle's gone, he could say, "All right, I'm back." Maybe he gets back with Bridget Moynihan. Who knows?
Well, she's a Jersey girl, right?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, that's where his son would fly in every Sunday morning to Tampa on the private jet of the owners, and then the Glazers, and then he'd go out to the game. So, and the reason, quote unquote, that Tom went to Tampa was he didn't want to go out west because his son couldn't watch him every week. Evidently, the jet could only go to Tampa, it can't fly to Miami or down to Los Angeles or San Francisco. I tend to believe he's going to stay out this time. As you said, Sean, in the pre-show, the poor guy has nothing to fall back on except for a $400 million 10-year deal with Fox, and that's just one deal. So we'll see, but I do think this time around it's goodbye.
What a time for the Glazers right now, losing Man United, losing Tom Brady. Talk about.
I think they bounced. To be honest, I think they might sell everything at this point.
Yeah.
Why not just cash in, get $10 billion and go live on a beach somewhere?
Tired of having fans scream at you every single day of the year?
Well, not for nothing, as the old saying goes. It's not like these guys are poor. They're pretty well off to begin with, but they're about to be much more well off, as you said, with the Man U when they cash the Man U check, and if they sold the Buccaneers. Anybody who wants an NFL team, we saw that Denver went for, $4.6 billion. Denver goes for 4.6 figure. They're in the, 3.5 to maybe 5 range, depending upon how badly you want a football team. So they could cash out and be over $12 billion just in selling 2 franchises.
Look, if I was them, that's what I would do at this point. $12 billion, take the money, and then all the Glazers have are worth over $1 billion, and then if you want to invest in an Indian Premier League team, the cricket, which what they're saying, maybe, or they want to do something like that, then you do that, and you
But they could buy an island for that kind of money.
So they want to buy a cricket team. Are they trying to see how many different sports fan bases they can piss off around the world?
That's their goal. They want to go to every continent and piss off the sport.
We haven't done cricket yet, and then we'll hit the NHL after that, right. And then maybe when the NBA opening, we'll destroy Phoenix or something.
Well, no, they still have Australia. They have South China. They got plenty of places to go and mess up.
Oh yeah, Aussie rules, football, rugby.
You got possibilities. Sean Payton wakes up this morning as the new head coach of the Denver Broncos. In the proverbial "what was he thinking" category, he's got a quarterback that doesn't play Sean Payton football. So we'll see how that works out.
You know what bothers me is it seems like Sean Payton didn't want to go to the Broncos, and the Broncos didn't even want him.
He's their third choice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They wanted D'Amico Ryans, and then as soon as he chose, I'm going to Houston, they were like, oh, I guess we'll take, number 2 over here, Sean Payton. When the Cardinals, he wanted to go to Arizona. Arizona wanted him, but New Orleans just refused to negotiate with us. They just didn't want him in the NFC, I'm guessing. But, man, they must hate us with a passion. They just refuse to negotiate any kind of compensation.
All right. I'm not normally a hater, but in this particular case. Please tell me, other than one Super Bowl, what did Sean Payton do?
Had Drew Brees carry him up the mountain for.
But I mean, they won division. I mean, sure, they won.
Well, the Saints were terrible until, you know, I mean, they
No,
you know,
I'm not saying we're a bad coach. I'm just saying, did he ascend this level to the point where, you know, everybody's hot, mortgaging their future to get him? I mean, Denver had given away a ton of draft choices to get Russell Wilson. They probably don't have a draft choice until 2030 at this point.
To be fair to Sean Payton,
Yeah.
I think if you look at the season the Saints had this year with Dennis Allen compared to the way they finished with Sean Payton the year before, and pretty much, you know, the same roster, the same quarterback troubles, it was a miracle he got that team to 500. So I think that alone probably speaks volumes about how he took nothing and still made him competitive.
Fair
like
enough.
We've seen a few teams this year.
Yeah, fair enough. So anyway, a couple of NFL notes this morning on a Wednesday when there's some actually decent soccer on today, boys.
Well, not in England, but everywhere else. Yeah.
You know, things happen, right? You can't always make it. So what do you think? What's going on today? What do you guys like?
I mean,
Got a name there, Sean, that you like?
what's up, guys? Man United 1.5, Barcelona. Bill, look, I'm not going to tell you to bet Manchester United today until I see what lineup they're putting out there, because Ericsson's out till April. They have a 3-0 lead, and they play Crystal Palace on the weekend. I would imagine they're going to play kids today. So I don't really love the game. Look, if they put a strong lineup out there, which I don't think they're going to, once again, because they played a pretty strong lineup on Saturday against Reading. I didn't think they would do that, but they did. I think he's going to rotate a little bit here. So, he has no Scott McTominay. I know Jane Sancho is going to play, probably a part. I don't know if he starts. Anthony Martial might play because he needs some time. So, look, there's going to be some decent players out there. Probably Garnacho plays, maybe Kobe Mainu plays. But I'm not – I would tell you to just wait until you see the lineup before you do anything today. Let me just take a look at they're minus 230. I mean, we talked about it yesterday with that Southampton game. Hey, can you? I gotta take a phone call. Can you
Sure,
just jump in?
We'll pop in there. The roster should come out, the starters, sometime in the next hour or so. So you should be able to know, within the next hour to 90 minutes anyway, what's going on. And I was just looking to see if I could find anything, and there's nothing there just yet.
Yeah, these cup matches are tough. They really wait till right before the match. I don't know why. It's like they got to keep the lineup sheet right to their chest until kickoff. But I'm with Sean on this one. You never like this situation. You got the stronger team at home against a weaker team here, but the stronger team has the 3-0 lead on aggregate. And, in reality, I agree with Sean. You think they're going to rest some players because obviously they're going to have more Premier League matches. The Premier League's back this weekend. So, and you could lose this game. Realistically, you could lose this game 2-0 and still advance. Now, do I think they're going to lose 2-0? Obviously not. They're at home, which almost makes it that much more, they could just sit on defense this entire match. But then again, it's tough. It's really tough to see what they're going to do, because if they start the younger lineup and you get some kids in there, or even some backups that are looking to make a spot, you don't know what this team is going to do, because that could go one of two ways. It could go where, Man United just coasts with their 3-0 lead and they sit on defense the whole match. Or you could have the other option where these kids and these backup players are trying to make names for themselves. So maybe they go off and win 3-0 too, trying to earn a spot in the starting 11. But at the same time, you really don't know which Man United is going to show up.
Well, the other thing too is, look, Nottingham Forest, just signed Keylor Navas. Like, they're signing, they've signed like 24 players. Like, their squad's not terrible. Like, they don't match up against Manchester United for whatever it is. Like, United just every time they play them, it's 3-0. But they're not. It's not the worst team in the world. Like, I just, Bill, if you like, I don't even know, Twitter, I would say like at 2:00, if Rashford's playing, I would think maybe Rashford gets a little bit of a rest, comes off the bench. I mean, he's just red hot right now. So like, you don't really want to sit him, but I think they need to get Sancho some time and Martial some time. Let me see what they say is going to be the predicted line.
That was one of the things I was trying to say, Sean. So let's say these guys like, Garnacho, Martial, they get the start and all that. One of two things could happen here. They have the 3-0 lead and they could just coast in this match at home, not having to do much and just play defensively. Or, they could go off and win 3-0 again. Guys like Martial, they want to earn their spot back in the starting 11, right? Garnacho wants to prove why I should be a starter.
Yeah, look, Palestri didn't go on loan yesterday. Alanga didn't go on loan. Like, they kept him around for games like this. This guy Palestri is good. The other thing too, Bill, is I think this could go the other way, where Nottingham Forest says, let me see who Forest plays on the weekend. So Forest has Leeds on Sunday, which is a massive game for them.
New All-American midfield.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest right now is on 21 points. They're only 4 points ahead of the drop zone, and Leeds is on 18. So I mean, Forest could say, what, this tie's over. We're not winning at Old Trafford. We're not outscoring them by 4 goals here. Maybe they rotate and, they could get beat, 2-0 or something like that. Or, if United scores early, it's just a game where they kind of like you say, coast or something like that. But, so Forest could rotate. So, it's an interesting game. I would wait to see. Now, the Barcelona game, Barcelona's playing Betis. To me, Barcelona has a chance right now to jump to, I think they would take an 8-point lead because
they're tied with Real Madrid for matches. So
yeah,
just take an 8-point lead, but Real Madrid can make that 5 again with another win. Yes.
Does Madrid play? Madrid plays tomorrow. But, if you take an 8-point lead into the, it's pretty big, psychologically, all that stuff. Betis right now is 6 with a win, would jump up into tie with Atletico Madrid. Same amount of matches on points for Champions League spot. Barcelona over.
I don't agree with that.
Bill, I mean, Barcelona's only given up 6 goals in the league this year. That's the problem I see here. Barcelona.
And Betis is going to shell up at home in one of their – we've seen them play that really defensive style before where they won't give up any goals.
Yeah, but Betis isn't great. I mean, they're all right. They have the 6th best record at home. I mean, they've only scored 12 goals and allowed 5. Barcelona on the road has 8 wins and 1 loss, and they've only allowed 5 goals. So,
Yeah, but if you look at Barcelona's matches lately, they're all like 1-0, 1-0,
yes.
1-0.
I actually think this is probably. I see what 1-0 Barcelona is. 1-0 Barcelona is plus 600.
They just played in the Super Cup too, and that ended 1-1 after 90 minutes. Then it was 2-2 after 120 minutes, and obviously Barcelona beat them in the penalties and went on to win the Super Cup. But they did just play a few weeks ago. on the neutral
Yeah.
side.
Yep. That's right.
And as we saw, Barcelona struggled to score on them in that match.
That's right. I would rather take Barcelona, to be honest, to win the match than I would some of the other things. But this is a tough spot. I think this is a tough spot for Barcelona here. It's a tough game, in Betis. But I do think they're pretty good.
La Liga is interesting to me right now because if you look at the odds to win the title, they have Barcelona at minus 334 right now. And I think that's absolutely absurd because, they could take an 8-point lead today with a win. But, Real Madrid could make that 5 points again tomorrow. And they've only played 18 matches. So you still have 20 matches left in the season. And to call Barcelona a minus 334 favorite to win it all is just absurd to me because they could – they're playing well right now, but if you look at their last few league matches, they've only been 1-0 wins, 3 of their last 4. So all it takes is a few slip-ups, and all of a sudden Real Madrid's, right back in that race with 20 matches left in the season. So I just thought I did a whole article on it yesterday, but I thought there's some value in Real Madrid at plus 240 right now to win the title.
Yeah, when I look at this stuff, I'm trying to find, there's really no value in, let's see if I can find this futures, plus 225 with Madrid to win the title, I think is better value. I think, when you look at the Premier League, you have, Manchester City at plus 130, Arsenal minus 125. There's still actually pretty good value for both those teams. No other team will win that. So I think there's some decent value, even in, let's see what Italy is. Serie A, Napoli is minus 1667. Bayern Munich right now is minus 770. No one in the world expects anybody to win.
They're in a closer title race than Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Bayern Munich could win it, but look, Nagelsmann's not great there. He hasn't been great. If they get knocked out of the Champions League, that thing could spiral. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a chance. And, RB Leipzig's at plus 1,000. I wouldn't throw a lot on it, but, maybe that, PSG is minus 2,000 right now. Lens is plus 2,000. Once again, I might throw $10 on that. You just don't know. PSG, if they lose to Bayern Munich, that thing could spiral. Mbappe and Messi could be fist fighting on the field. You just don't know what's going to happen there. I just, right now in the Eredivisie, let me pull these up. I want to see what that table is. Right now in the Eredivisie, the table, Feyenoord is 42 points, AZ Alkmaar 40, Eindhoven 38, Ajax 37, and just fired their coach. You get Ajax at plus 225. Feyenoord is plus 100, so you get plus money. PSV Eindhoven sold their whole team, so it's not going to be them. So if you're looking for a future bet right there, Ajax at 5 points back now with 17 matches to go, and a new coach, and probably the best team. It's plus 225, but once again you get Feyenoord at plus 100, which I think is pretty good value. So there's you could find some value in some of these futures.
Another one I was looking at in La Liga was Real Sociedad to win the title without Barcelona and Real Madrid included. You can get them at plus 125
to finish third. Yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly think they're the third best team in Spain, hands down, and there isn't even another team that's close to them right now.
Bill, hey Bill, look, I don't know. I mean, I think I like Barcelona to win the game, to be honest. I mean, they're the better team here, but I would just, if you can get them at minus 135, that's, decent. If you put, I would see, what lineup Manchester United goes with, maybe parlay those two. I mean, I think you could probably get a decent value for those two, but I mean, I would just wait to see the lineups.
I'm telling you, I've watched a lot of Barcelona lately in these games where they've been like minus 500, minus 700 type deal. And I'm telling you, this is a game you're going to be sitting there in the 70th minute at 0-0, and Barcelona's probably going to be dominating too with like 70% possession of the ball and out shooting them 10-1 or something. And it's just going to be one of those games where you're like, is Barcelona going to score here? They got 20 minutes left. They got 15 minutes left. I don't know. There's something's up with them. Something's up with Real Madrid. Something's up with PSG. These teams, I'm not trusting them right now.
I would actually, you know what's a decent play here? Let me see what the odds are on this. Total goals by Betis under half a goal is plus 133. I was going to see if I can find Barcelona keep a clean sheet, but I mean, it's basically there. I mean, Barcelona keep a clean sheet here. Doesn't matter what the score is, is plus 133. So, well, that's interesting. Could I see a 0-0? I mean, look, yeah, I mean, you've been right. I've been watching, Real Madrid has been dominating defensively and Barcelona's been dominant defensively. They just haven't been able to score some goals here. So
something up. And same with like PSG, like they were -2 the other day against, I think, like a cup team.
Oh, look at this.
They couldn't get it done.
Over 2.5 goals market has hit in 8 of the last 9 La Liga matches between Betis and Barcelona.
Not the last one.
The both teams to score market has failed to hit in 11 of Barcelona's last 12 La Liga night matches. So both teams to score no is minus 109.
So they don't give up goals at night then?
Yeah, that's it.
There was a weird stat. I was watching an Italian game a few weeks ago, like right when they were coming back from the break. It was like the first match, Fiorentina versus Monza. And the commentator mentioned that like 15 of Monza's 16, or no, all 16 of Monza's points this year at that point in time had only come from games in the 245 window. And I go, who looks at these? Like, who finds these stats? All 16 of your points have come from games played at 245. Like, honestly.
They know all that stuff.
It's like the Ken Palm of soccer. I mean,
yeah.
He's got stats that said that what teams do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's like, okay, don't bet on them on Wednesday because they never win on Wednesday. Always bet on them on Tuesday because they always win on Tuesday.
But yeah, that's literally my reaction.
These stats.
What is happening here? Why do you know that?
Right. Do you have a life? But, it is.
It's like Sean's 0-15 stat of teams after playing the 49ers.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, how do you know that? Who went by and counted the games after every
you know what
game?
happens? Like, sometimes somebody just like, because it's not a thing, and then all of a sudden after like 5 games, somebody's like, man, these teams that play the 49ers just don't win. And then they're like, oh, yeah, the next team didn't win. Oh, yeah, the next team didn't win. And then all of a sudden you're like putting this stat up. Like,
right.
Once you play it starts from nothing. And like, it's crazy when you go on like
the Super Bowl.
When you go on like SofaScore or all those things, you see these like trends and stuff. And you're like, man, it's like this team is, head to head, like on Tuesday, like once again, you're just like, man, how do they know this stuff? It's probably some supercomputer somewhere, but
Right.
It's just really kind of crazy.
Definitely crazy.
So what do you think, Sean? Does the Eagles lose in the Super Bowl then because they played the 49ers last week?
Oh, yeah. How about that? No, but they had a bye week.
Yeah, they get the Pro Bowl bye, so it's
So maybe that tanks it. It could be, though. I think I think Kansas City's too beat up, but it could be. That'd be interesting to watch.
Well, I think, and we'll get into this. We'll have some guests come on who can talk about the game. But I think it depends a great deal on Mahomes' foot. If that high ankle sprain is healed, then he'll be fine. If he has to play with it and he's still got that injury, they're going to have to change up on how they do it. And they may have to go to more of a 1, 2, 3 out of your hand kind of thing, because the Eagles' defense is just ridiculous.
Well, interestingly enough, we saw some very good reffing over the weekend, and interestingly enough, the guy who's reffing the Super Bowl this year is the same referee who reffed the Super Bowl in 2021, which the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And
Super Bowl 55.
Yeah, and this referee crew also broke a record for, I think, the most flags. They had like 5 flags for 90 yards or something like that on the Chiefs in just the first half. So I think the Eagles might be giving Super Bowl MVP to the referee in this upcoming game. We'll see.
So you're saying that the officials are going to get rings.
Yeah, they're gonna get their you're gonna see Jalen Hurts swapping jerseys with I forget who's actually reffing the game. I forget what the name is, but
I'll look it up for you in a second. Here we go. Let me look real quick.
But yeah, and somebody released a stat that John Hussey or whatever, I think he did. What was it? The Eagles game.
Paul Sheffers.
The Eagles were 7-0 with him as a referee. So yeah, I
he also.
The casinos in Philly aren't that far from the stadium, so just saying.
Yeah, right next to it.
Yeah, so you said Carl Sheffers is the
yeah.
It's the guy.
The referee is Carl Sheffers. Let's see. Fred Bryan is the umpire. Sarah Thomas was the down judge. Rusty Baines was the line judge. James Coleman was the field judge. Eugene Hall was the side judge. Dino Pirelli was the back judge. Mike Warner was the replay referee. So there's your Super Bowl 55 refereeing group.
Yes. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
See
will.
What happens there.
Who brings the whistles?
Yeah. Who swallows the whistles?
A trip for 2 to the Super Bowl will cost you about $20,000.
Oh, that's lovely.
So
no better Valentine's gift than
the average fan will expect to spend $18,100.
So you're telling me there's no average fans at the Super Bowl then?
I haven't seen them. I will tell you.
The only average fans that go to the Super Bowl are the ones that win these Super Bowl ticket giveaways.
We did a pregame show where I worked for SMI, which is a media group of IMG, International Management Group. And Tom Wilson, who I work with, and I love Tom to death. He never wanted to be at any of the major events he wanted to be at home in his chair watching it on television. So at about 7 a.m., about 8 a.m. on Super Bowl Sunday, we're getting ready to go out to the stadium because you go out early. And Tom hands me 2 Super Bowl tickets and says, take these tickets, go out to the stadium, and before you go to the truck, give these tickets to somebody. I swear to God, I couldn't give them away for 10 minutes because no one believed they were real.
I could see that because it's like, why are you just handing
First
them?
of all, we're not saying, he told me don't, I wouldn't have sold them anyway because they were given to us by the league, right? So the league knows whose tickets these are.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't going to sell them to somebody. So eventually I got somebody to take them. And I hope that they enjoyed the game. But yeah.
Somebody who just hoped and prayed that they weren't going to get arrested.
Yeah, thrown in jail.
Security gate.
I didn't, it's like, seriously, dude, I'm telling you, these are
I
real.
have a story. Yeah, we were in a bar in we're at Cannon's Bar up by Columbia, and it was 93, I think. I like Eagles built. Eagles Chiefs are banged up. Eagles defense is better than the Chiefs defense, and Eagles offense is just as good. And some like a homeless guy walked. The guy from the street was like, "Hey, I got these tickets to the U.S. Open. I don't know, 4th round."
Okay.
Yeah, sure you do. And one of the guys, he's like trying to sell them to everybody, and like nobody. I was like, "Yeah, right. Come on, man." So like my buddy bought them. I'm like, "How much did you just pay for those?" He's like, whatever. And everybody's laughing at it. They're real. They were like center court. It was like crazy tickets. Like you got to see like, I don't even know who it was then, man, Monica Seles or something.
Right.
And it was like, oh man, this was like the greatest day ever. We had all this stuff. And I was like, damn. So the same thing, like nobody believed the guy. It was like,
there you go. You never know what's going to happen. You pay attention there, boys. What's the worst you do? You give them $10 and they give you the tickets, and you take.
You could always just like go up to the security gate and be like, "Some guy on the street gave me these.
Right.
If they're not, can you just check them? If they're not real, I'll go away."
Like, I'll gladly
just worth a shot, right?
Well,
Someone gives you free tickets. I'm sure the security guy will understand.
Why not?
You be nice about it. Don't show up like a drunk idiot. Just be honest, man. Sorry, look. A random person gave me these tickets. They could be fake. They could be real. Just check them for me. If they're good, they're good. If they're not, I'll go away.
Every year you see a couple of players who give their tickets away because they don't have anybody to give them to. And they will either give back to the organization or they'll just say, hey, look, there are a couple of people that I saw in the lobby of the hotel. They were nice folks, so I figured I'd give it to them. That doesn't happen often. So
you're spending billions on a box.
Yeah, don't expect to see that happen often, but it does happen. You're more likely to get the Sean treatment of getting minor league baseball tickets given to you, and then having somebody charge you more than that.
Hey, Sean, you want these tickets on the Trenton Thunder?
Yeah,
free of charge.
I got Barcelona. Yeah. My buddy texted me this morning and from Northern Ireland and said the Barcelona Manchester United tickets went on sale on the Barcelona website for the game. And this place is sold out. There's 21 tickets. Okay, click. This place is sold out. 21 tickets left. This place is sold out. But I ended up getting one. I'm in like the lower tier, so I don't have to buy them off the street.
Mm-hmm.
I always get worried about that sometimes. The crazy thing is Barcelona was selling their tickets on the site for 140 euros.
Mm-hmm.
And the Manchester United ticket in in Manchester was 29 pounds. So like
got a better deal.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but that's what happens, man, because we're the biggest club in the world. When you go travel and they can sell these tickets because people, want to go see Manchester United play. But when it happens in the FA Cup sometimes, although never anymore because we've got 9 straight home draws here. But, when Manchester United has to play they jack the price up. It happens more in Europe because there's protections in England now that you can't do that. But in Europe, when you go to like Real Sociedad, all of a sudden the ticket's like 97 euros or something like that. But then when they come to Manchester, it's the same thing. They like they jack the price up, so you're only hurting the fans. But.
I told you the Panthers do that when the
I
Leafs come
think the under. I don't see this being a shootout. You guys see the Eagles Chiefs being a shootout?
I don't know. I just see, I think the Eagles are going to score a lot of points. I think the Eagles will score over 30 points. I just don't know if the
Kansas City can match it.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I'm a little worried about the Kansas City, injury, Mahomes, and the Eagles defense. This guy Hassan Reddick is a monster. If you talk about, MVP, if you're looking for an MVP award a little bit further down the list, Reddick is your guy. I mean, he was all over the place. He's second in the league in sacks this year. He had a monster year, and he knocked out a couple quarterbacks the other day. I mean, this guy is just really, really good. So, and he's priced way down the board. I think he's like plus 3,300, and there's a legitimate chance he wins the MVP award.
Yeah. The other thing besides Mahomes is, if you remember in the game, there was they were down to their final two rookie receivers because they got whacked all over the place on that one. So there you go.
Foxy, I'll make sure I wave to you from Wembley, from the pitch after the match when I'm on the pitch celebrating the trophy. I'm gonna be. Hey, Fox, I'll have a sign.
Get a sign. Yeah, get a sign, Foxy.
Make sure I wave to you from Wembley.
Foxy, it's been tough, but we made it. That little upstart team from Manchester.
Exactly. I mean, we got no money. We got to go from loans. We're
borrowed shoes.
We're broke. We're going up against the biggest team the richest team in the world. If they get there, why would you be celebrating Forest winning the cup? So you're telling me Newcastle's going to lose. All right, that's fine. That's good. Foxy says Newcastle's going to lose. Breaking news.
Oh man, it's funny. The
little upstart Nottingham Forest.
Right. Or they have to run to the bank to cash their checks to make sure that they don't get stiffed. Oh,
yeah, no.
It's and didn't Nottingham Forest just hire Ted Lasso?
Their coach is actually pretty good. Steve. Nottingham Forest, by the way, who's a bigger club in the world than Newcastle, Manchester City, Arsenal, Tottenham, and basically the rest of the league that isn't Chelsea, Manchester United, or Liverpool. Basically, more European Cups than all the teams in the Premier League, bar Chelsea, Manchester United, and Liverpool. So, Nottingham Forest. They've fallen on hard times, obviously, but, everybody's on hard times now when you're facing the biggest conglomerate to ever ever own a team here, the Saudi Public Investment Fund that owns Newcastle, the richest club in the world. Good to see money hasn't changed the game too much here. Yes, Nottingham Forest, massive club. Brian Clough, there's movies about him. Nottingham Forest was the best team in the world for 2 years. 1979 and 1980, they went back to back in the European Cup. When England dominated, Aston Villa won in 82, Liverpool won in 81 and 70. England dominated everything, and then the idiot Trousers had to go and ruin everything. Back-to-back years. England was dominating the world of soccer, and then Liverpool fans wrecked it, and Hazel And then from that point, when they got the 5-year ban, it took years to get back to the top for those teams. So all the problems stem from one club. It's interesting that happens. If you don't know about that, by the way, make sure you will be impossible. Yeah, Foxy, I'm not gonna go through the club. I'm gonna go through other means.
Come on, Foxy, don't you just show up at the stadium and look for a good old scalper?
I'll have to use my corporate, my company is based in London there, and it's a sports company. So I'm gonna have to either use a corporate ticket or something. Yeah, you're not getting it's gonna be tough. But once again, Foxy, I'm not sure if you're here when I said it, but I just Barcelona, for the Barcelona Manchester United game in Manchester, the ticket was £29 in the Stretford End. I just got one this morning in Barcelona. The ticket cost $200. So Barcelona, they know what they're doing with that stuff. So
they've had experience.
Yeah. So it's going to be I know the Manchester. If you opted in, if you're a season ticket holder in Manchester and opted into all the cups, you'll get a ticket. So it will be definitely. I mean, no one's gotten one for Newcastle. You guys haven't been there in forever. They're going to be like gold dust, I would imagine. I mean, you'd probably have to pay a ton of money to do that. So it's going to be really, really tough. And I would think, some of the Newcastle fans might be snatching up those other ones that are out there. So yeah, I agree. It's going to be very tough. I'm going to be there anyway. I fly out the next day, so I might as well go. We'll see.
You're going to be reporting it next week from Europe, right?
Yeah. Yep. I'll be in.
Massimo and I will be back here,
London,
holding our little flags up and waving to you. You sign up with Fox.
I'm going to try to go to. I'm trying to get a ticket here for next weekend for West Ham Chelsea. My hotel is not very far from the stadium.
What, from Chelsea?
No, it's at West Ham. So I'm not very far. I'm probably like a 20-minute tube ride, maybe 15. I think it might not even. Arsenal plays at home next week against Brentford. Fulham plays at home against Nottingham Forest. And West Ham, Arsenal, Palace plays Brighton. Palace it's like impossible to get to, though. It's like such a hassle, so I probably won't go to that. So I'll go to one of those. The West Ham game is at 12:30. It's a shame. There isn't a the late game, the 5:30 game there is Bournemouth and Newcastle. If it was they got 57. Foxy, I don't know if you've read about this, but the reason that Chelsea's spending $700 million now and spreading these contracts out, if you see the contracts, they're all 7 or 8 years, is because it's the financial fair play hit gets to be spread out over the length of the contract. Starting in June with new contracts, you can only do that for 4 or 5 years, and also financial fair play rules will start to be a little bit. They change the rules now, so Chelsea's just buying everybody now, and then they're going to be able to do this, but then now they're not. So now in the summer, they have 30, but they can't even register all these players. So they have 38 players in the squad or something. You can only register 25. So half these guys they can't even register. So some of these guys are going to be left out. They're going to be selling some players here in the summer. But if I know you got to sell, whatever. But I don't think they really care about that. So yeah, it's a little bit of a joke. But I mean, it's this guy Enzo Fernandez, if you had any half a scouting department, you could have had him for 20 million last year. So, you know, it is what it is. Chelsea be better, but look, I mean, you know, they still can't score any goals. So, Sunday, February 12th, you know, Leeds is hosting United. I don't know if I can get up to Leeds in time and once again find a ticket, but I'll try. Monday, February 13th, Liverpool plays Everton. Not going near that, so I'll be back in Manchester for the 19th, February 19th, Manchester United, Leicester. The Saturday, the 18th, full day of games, but you know, none local. Maybe Everton Leeds. Maybe I'll head over to Everton. Probably get a ticket pretty cheap now with them going down.
So you'll make your plans once you get there, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to buy some tickets now.
Just out of curiosity, couldn't you get some media credentials?
You can. I mean, it's a little tougher in England, but I probably could. I just like how. Amedeus, what do you say about Milan and Spurs? Two teams completely out of form. Was shocked to wake up and Milan already conceded 3 at halftime.
Are you talking about the Sassuolo game? Yeah, I mean, Foxy, these aren't two teams out of form. These are just two trash teams. Like I keep saying, I don't know how AC Milan even won the title with the squad they have. I mean, our best player this year has been Rafael Leao, and he's just absolutely, the guy can't score now. He's just gone dry. So, yeah, I don't know. They got some major problems. I watched them blow that lead against Roma. I didn't even wake up for that Sassuolo match, and I woke up at halftime, Foxy, and saw they were down 3-1 just to go on to lose 5-2 or whatever, and I didn't even bother to flip it on. Yeah, you know, honestly, Foxy, to me, that's a matchup where it's just, you know, it's two trash teams, AC Milan versus Tottenham, and to me, they're the same. I probably won't bet on it because of my bias towards AC Milan, but that's one where I couldn't tell you who's going to win. I couldn't even tell you who's going to advance because they're the same team to me, and I think probably the home matches are going to be very important to each side.
Yeah, Foxy, we're going to start our soccer show back up here. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Plus Money about it at some point here. But you know, I think, you know, just looking at some of these games here, you know, the first legs are really interesting to me because, I mean, I don't think you usually get. I think this is a weird year. I think when you look through, you know, AC Milan, Tottenham, PSG, Bayern Munich. I mean, the only teams here with minus money odds are Benfica at Bruges, and it's minus 108. Inter against Porto at minus 127. And Inter's not playing great right now. And then Manchester City, and you look at Manchester City against Leipzig, they're only minus 134 right now. So, you know, I think in the years past in the round of 16, you get some of these games where you get these huge lines. I mean, there's all kinds of value in these games right now. And Bill, I don't know if you're still here, but, you know, when you're looking at this, I think there's some value in some of these games. You know, I think Chelsea with all these signings at some point they're gonna turn it around. You know, maybe it doesn't happen overall until, you know, they get the 9 in the summer, but, you know, they brought a ton of talent in. You know, Fernandez is a beast, but, you know, 111 million, whatever, if he's worth it or not. Chelsea doesn't seem to care about money. So, you know, Bruges and Benfica, we talked about this one. You know, Benfica right now against Bruges hasn't been in great form, and you get Benfica, who's been in very good form, you know, at basically even money. You get Napoli, against the Eintracht Frankfurt team. All of a sudden, that Napoli. I was always thinking Napoli was going to dominate this. Now, all of a sudden, you look at Eintracht Frankfurt, and they're rolling right now. So, that game, Frankfurt right now, you look at the table, well, they're not exactly rolling, but they're playing better here. They're up to 6th in that league, and they're only 5 points out of the top spot. So maybe that's a tougher game. Thought Bruges had a decent chance to advance a couple months ago, but Bruges are embarrassing now with Scott Parker. Yeah, 100%. I think, to me, and I think Amedeus said the same thing. Like, that's probably the best bet of the whole round. Because, between Dortmund and Chelsea, I don't know. I mean, Dortmund, I don't trust to throw them, and Chelsea, they've been terrible. But once again, at some point they're going to click. They have too much talent now. PSG, Bayern Munich, who knows? AC Milan, Tottenham, who knows? Coin flip. Frankfurt, Napoli, I would back Napoli, but I wouldn't be super whatever about it. Liverpool at plus 102 against Real Madrid. How are you betting Liverpool? How is Liverpool at plus 102? They stink. Leipzig, City. I would think City, but Leipzig's been playing really well. So to me, the game right here in the first leg that is the maybe the best value is Benfica against Bruges. So and Amedeus, I think that's what you kind of think too, right? I mean, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Belgian league lately. I'm actually going to go watch probably Genk later today at 12:45. But this Club Bruges team, man, they've been out of form since the restart. And considering how hot they were in the group stage, they jumped out to that huge lead. It looked like they had the group locked up. And then, in the last 2 matches, we saw them slip up, lose the group to Porto. So they end up getting a second place spot and now have to face a group winner. They kind of lucked out a bit with Benfica being the group winner. But at the same time, is it really lucking out? You're not playing that well, and Benfica's been in incredible form. Obviously, they lost Enzo Fernandez now, and they've sold a few players, but I still think it's a very good team, and it's going to be tough. The Club Bruges is not playing well.
Bruges is 18 points behind Genk, and Genk has a match in hand right now. 18 points. I mean, that is ridiculous.
That's a long way to go.
Genk is just dominating.
Genk has 19 wins. Bruges has 11. They have, and Bruges has played one more game. I mean, that just tells you what's going on there.
You got to remember, so Bruges is in Champions League. USG there is in Europa League still, or the Conference League, something like that. I'm pretty sure they're still in it. So you have a Genk team that is on fire this year, averaging almost 3 goals a game and under 1 goal allowed a game. And on top of that, they have nothing else to look at all year.
Look at Bruges since they came back here. They lost 4-1 to St. Truden in the Cup. 1-1. They lost 3-1 to Genk. 1-1. 1-1. 2-2. They finally won their first game since the break. Over a month, they beat Zulte Waregem.
One of the worst teams in the league.
Yes, exactly. 16th place right now. They finally won a game. To me, and then, contrast that with the Portuguese league. Where is it? There it is. League of Notes should be a little bit higher in this thing. Look what Benfica has done here. 48 goals scored, 12 allowed. They have a 10-point lead over Braga, although they've played 2 more games. They've played 19 games where the teams chasing them have only played 17. So Porto and Braga still have a chance. Braga just sold their best player, though, to someone I just saw yesterday.
Probably Chelsea, who just bought him as a
yeah.
That's like the aftermath of another deal.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think I don't know. I just that 0-0. Yeah, Vitinha to Marseille. That's right.
Foxy, you're not being very. Bring that up again, Foxy. You're not being very. You're not being very fair with this statement. I think you can cut about half of this sentence out and just leave it with Liverpool at Anfield somehow finds a way. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and the Napoli game, the Napoli had already won the group, so But no, look, I don't know. I don't love that game. You know, I think Real Madrid's not playing well, but they don't give up goals. I think that's an under, to be honest with you. I mean, I would say, you know, that's got 1-0 written all over it either way, and the over is minus 175 there. I just don't think these books look at results. You know, neither of these teams can score, and you know, it's the first leg of a Champions League. I think that's going to be super defensive. I think Liverpool tries to maybe. I mean, Liverpool's defense has been shockingly terrible. You know, it's been out that Van Dijk's been out, but you know he's not any good anyway. So
I'll tell you exactly how that match is or how the two legs are gonna go. From what we saw from Real Madrid last year, it's gonna be 1-0 Liverpool after the first leg. It's gonna be 2-0 Liverpool on aggregate after the first half of the game in Real Madrid, and then Real Madrid scores 3 goals in the second half to win.
I'll be at that game. I think I'll probably be at that game because I'm gonna go to see. Yeah, no, it's. But I will say this, I think, Foxy, do you think Guimaraes gets a red card yesterday if there wasn't this uproar about the Fabinho tackle on the weekend? And the Fabinho tackle 100% is a red card. You can't, you know, the tackle on, you know, Christian Eriksen. You know, I mean, there's all these tackles now. I mean, there's all the tackle on Christian Eriksen, the tackle on Ferguson on the weekend, the tackle for, you know, by Fabinho. All this, you know, the media, blah, blah, the media. And then all of a sudden there's this tackle yesterday and it was a yellow card and then they changed it to a red. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's probably a red card, to be honest. I mean, it was, you know, he could have broken his leg, but you know, I don't know if that's a yellow. I don't know if that's a red card if there wasn't that whole thing on the weekend. That, to me, you know, I think, yes, 100. Yes, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, Foxy. I think if there wasn't the uproar about it's definitely it's the same tackle as the tackle for Fabinho, but I think that, you know, if there wasn't that uproar. You know, Eriksen out for 3 months because of that tackle, and you know, Andy Carroll's flying around doing these tackles. You know, the like a jerk and doing all this stuff, and then the Fabinho thing, and you know, obviously because it's Liverpool, you know, they get it. The referees come out afterwards and say we missed the call. It should have been a red. He should be suspended afterwards. If they missed the call, they should be able to do that. But I think that. Because that happened, there was the more pressure on Paul Tierney yesterday to give the red card when he went over to VAR. And I 100% agree it's a red card. You can't do that. Now, I don't think he did it on purpose, obviously, but you know, you obviously can't do it. But I think that, you know, Liverpool, these things, you know, but Liverpool sets the bomb off and then walks away, and then everybody else has to deal with it now. So,
you know, Sean, I think that's a great point you make. Why doesn't the Premier League do anything about it? You see in some of these leagues over here how, you know, usually a player gets ejected or whatever when something like that happens. But every now and then there's a bad hit in football or something that the refs miss. They don't flag it. But then after the game, the NFL comes in and says, no, that was illegal hit. You're getting fined and we're going to suspend you 2 games for it. So why doesn't the Premier League step in and say, you are suspended the next 2 games. That was a red card, and here's a fine as well.
They used to go back, and you'd say, you know, you'd come back, you know, on a Tuesday and stuff, and they'd be like, the league is investigating this play because, you know, whatever it was missed during the game or something like this, you know, an elbow or something like that, like Fellaini or, you know, whatever. And then they would get a retrospective ban. They don't do it now because of VAR, but it's stupid because, you know, if VAR misses the call and that's a red card, he should be suspended. Like Fabinho should be suspended for the next 3 games. It's a red card. So, you know, it's ridiculous. So I don't know why they don't do that.
One of the mysteries of the Premier League, I guess. They think VAR.
I guess because once VAR once
But it
VAR
doesn't
came in or
work
whatever,
all the time.
Yeah.
They don't look at everything, and it's very inconsistent.
Yes, I agree.
Well, inconsistency is kind of like the watchword at times for most sports. I mean, you can only
It drives talk though on the sports
and it does.
talk shows.
Well, that's why I'm excited for robot umps in the minor league. Hopefully that goes well this year, and let's bring them up to MLB. Let's go.
I saw a game in the Florida State League. It was the Tampa Bay Yankees and Clearwater, and they had they didn't have a home plate umpire. They had the Cyclops calling balls and strikes, and we've all seen that pitch block right on television where you see where the ball goes, and they had the pitch block up the whole time, and every time you see it, I mean, it was calling. There was not a ball. They didn't call a ball that was a strike. In other words, when a ball, off in the left-hand batter's box or right-hand batter's box, and somehow it's 3 inches off the plate, but it still gets called a strike. That they seemed to be straight up every time. The ball was in the strike zone.
Yeah, and it goes to show you the computer doesn't make as many mistakes because you program it to register things in that area. And I'll give you another great example. It wasn't a few months ago, but it was the year before. Maybe it was a few months ago. I think it was the year before, though, in the U.S. Open. There was a ton of players, because I guess they don't do this in the other majors or in other countries' tournaments, but there was a ton of players complaining about every single out. And normally it would be an argument with the ump, but every single time it happened in the U.S. Open, the umpire was like, we got a computer calling the lines. Like, you can argue with me here for 12 hours. It's not going to happen. You're arguing with the computer. The ball is out.
Right. Well, and that's the other part to it, right? It takes the the human part of element out of the equation.
Exactly. So I'm excited to see how it's going to go because, there's always an ump screwing me somewhere in the MLB. So if we can take that out, maybe I can get a few more wins this year.
But if you look, at the home plate umpires, they have a place where they like to sit. It depends on the size of the catcher, right? If you've got a big catcher, you're over his left shoulder or over his right shoulder. You're not dead center on where the strike zone is. So if it's off to the side of you, you're tending to, call a pitch, a ball that's outside to you because you're on the guy's right shoulder looking in a different direction. You're not going to see it straight up and down. It's just impossible. But a camera fixed directly in that position is going to see it.
And you know what? If you're a really smart pitcher who understands physics, then you can use that to your advantage because 100%. You can angle the ball. You can do a majority of pitches certain way where it's always giving a kind of like a blurred angle for the ump where he can't get a good read on. It could be a borderline ball all the time, but it really it's out when it's not.
Well, if you look at Scherzer or some of those guys, always their balls always. Even when it's a ball, it's just, minutely off the black of the plate. So, they're going to get that as a strike because, more often than not, it is a strike. So umpires tend to give guys like that a strike where, you get a journeyman pitcher out there throwing and, that guy's never going to get that strike. So anyway, it'd be fun. I mean, you got to admit that at least it works in tennis.
Yeah, no, it really does. That was my favorite. It's like the umpire was just looking at these players like, man, you can argue with me for the next 12 hours. Like you're arguing with the computer. Okay, we have it set up.
Taking his racket and trying to find the computer and just beating the hell out of it.
We have the lines set up with sensors and everything. Right. Like we can show you on the screen. It was out. Okay, it might have been by a millimeter. But Canadian,
it is what it is, right?
But it was out. You argue with the computer for all day, you're not gonna win.
Yep, it's not gonna reply. Ask Siri, was it out? Oh my. Oh man. All right, boys. Any final thoughts before we get out of here after our spirited debate with Foxy and Bill?
Oh, I think we're good.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Have a great day. Wait a minute. We got Foxy popped a quick question for us.
There's nothing they could do. I mean, they have the third, that was already their fourth string quarterback.
I'll tell you what they could have done. They could have had Garoppolo train all week and activated him for the game as your backup.
Yeah, you have you have the emergency quarterback here in the NFL. If he goes in before the fourth quarter, he can't come out. He's got to play. But they could have had an extra quarterback on the roster. But
yeah, but he has to be active.
Yes.
So you'd have to have 3 active quarterbacks on a roster. I don't think in Shanahan's wildest dreams he thought he needed to go that deep. So
I mean, I would have taken Garoppolo over Josh Johnson.
No, 100%. But is Garoppolo even healthy?
Yeah, they were saying that because that was the thing going into the playoffs is Garoppolo was ready, and they were deciding, well, who's the starter if Garoppolo's ready to come back? And Shanahan was like, it's Purdy until it's not, right? And then sure enough, in that game, it was not Purdy anymore, but they never bothered to activate Garoppolo or get him back that week.
That's 100% on them.
Yeah.
So I don't do it. Can't blame.
And then, I don't really buy what happened to Purdy. They say he tore his UCL and that he couldn't throw, but he looked fine when he was throwing balls on the sideline for the first and second quarter, wondering why he wasn't in the game. So,
yep.
Yeah, well, they said it's going to take 6 months to rehab.
Yeah, and Trey Lance now all the stories back to Trey Lance being ready for the beginning of the season. So we'll see if you still even have a job when you come back. Well,
Trey Lance may either be a bargaining chip that they can send somewhere. They don't have Garoppolo's as a free agent, so they can't play the Jimmy Garoppolo card anymore.
Yeah, look, I mean, now it's a chance. Like you said, Trey Lance now all of a sudden, he was out, and now he's got an opportunity. He might be the guy again. So you just don't know.
We'll have to see how his ankle. I mean, his ankle was broken in 4 places. That's a pretty bad ankle break. So we'll see, where he goes. And Purdy's got to think to himself, okay, I'm the luckiest bastard in the world, right? Because I'm getting to start. Now I'm the unluckiest son of a gun because I get hurt in the championship game, and I'm out for 6 months. So things happen. What are you going to do? Boys, we'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if anybody else will retire or they'll hire more coaches between then. But we definitely will have plenty to talk about. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow right here. Same time, same station.